This is the vision that the party got in episode 160. It occurs late night on day 57. There is a too long didn't read about it in the end of that episode when I talk about it to the party. The only thing to really learn about this is that Henry really wishes he was strong and cool enough to help save Wade himself, and that the party somehow got this waking dream from Henry's perspective from an unknown source or means. So it was very much like a prophetic dream from a god, but obviously did not come from a god, and it was very detailed and felt terrible, etc. But, content warning, this is a very long, self-hating rant King Henry gives himself while in the throes of a panic attack. It's sad. It's long. It might be triggering. I was compelled to write and record this thing by whatever forces forced me to write the rest of everything else. I made myself cry while making this. It made me sad, and it's not even good. But here I am, spending hours making it and forcing it upon you because I knew that I would be unable to rest until it was done, and so here it is at last. Done. I had the idea for this like 10 fucking months ago. Don't thank me. You're not welcome. And I also won't apologize. If you think I and everything I make is cringe, you're correct, and you listening to it is your problem. See you next episode on flavor texts and other things I've created without my permission. Good night. And goodbye. So Carolina, TK47, and Cole, you have a weird, not a vision, more like a dream. Chaotic, blurry, nauseating. Your sinuses ache as you feel yourself suddenly burst into sobs as this dream takes over your mind like you're being crushed in a giant fist made of water. In this dream, you're crying. Hard. You're trying not to. You hate yourself for crying in a way that makes you want to claw your eyes out and disembowel yourself. You're imagining someone walking in on you, and you have to physically restrain yourself from screaming from the white-hot, sickening embarrassment. You hate yourself. You hate yourself in a nauseous, sweaty passion because you're so weak. You're weak and everyone knows it. You're a failure and everyone hates you. They had their funeral today. You made a speech and it fucking sucked, and you're shocked no one killed you. You're shocked one of the survivors didn't rush the podium and strangle you to death like you deserve. They died for you. They died because of you. You might as well have killed them with your own hands. Thousands of people are doomed, and it's all your fault. Maybe millions, maybe the entire fucking planet. And how dare you be so egotistical? To think that you matter anything more than a name in a history book, and once they're printed, they should burn all of them because you don't deserve to have a single person remember your name. You're a prick for even wanting them to. You disgusting, vile, pathetic piece of shit. You're holding a pill in your hand. Your hand is pale, frail, cold, and clammy. The pill sticks to your skin. The pill is blue. You don't deserve to take this. You have work to do. You have reports to go over, people to meet with. You have letters to reply to, legislation to approve, to write. dire problems to find a solution to, multiple literal apocalypses to avoid. You have a court case coming up that will affect 12 people's lives for the rest of their lives. You have a hand in the fate of the entire fucking world. And you want to sleep when there is so much still to do. You can't. Not yet. You're lazy and weak for even wanting to. You imagine a small family. A mom, a dad, some kids, a modest house. The kids are reading colorful books. The parents are cleaning up and relaxing from a good day of work. They have food to eat, and there is a fire in the stove. All of their neighbors are just like them. You're doing this for them. You're doing this for them. You've been awake and working for 85 hours for them. You can't stop now. There's too much to do. That little happy family is going to die because of you. You're a pathetic, weak piece of shit, and they're all going to die because of you. You want to sleep because, of course, a bastard like you does. Everyone is going to die because you can't work a little harder, but then again, even if you do stay up, you're still going to fail. You move to put the pill back in the jar and see a note in Wade's handwriting pasted to it. Take every night. 11 at the latest. If Wade was here, he would be pissed at you right now. If Wade was here, he would be lecturing you about the laundry list of deadly illnesses that could be caused by insomnia, half of which you already have. If Wade was here, he would have sedated you by now. At 48 hours, Wade would have handcuffed you to your bed after searching you for lockpicks and sat on your legs to make you stay put while waterboarding you with chamomile tea. Much, much, much less 85. If you neglect your body and swim in your mind's cesspool of self-hatred deep and long enough while he's gone, maybe Wade will somehow psychically know, and he will be so enraged that he will escape the clutches of hell, claw out of the abyss by his fingernails, and leap across the entire moon and sky by harpooning a star and riding it back to Thundersgrim so he can kill you himself. At the very least, he will pick you up off the ground and violently shake you like he has in the past. In your memories, Wade demands to know, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And after you sarcastically start to list diseases and disorders, he demands to know why you deliberately make all of your conditions worse. You tell him all of the reasons why you think you have to, that it's not a choice, and you hate yourself even more after doing so because then he is no longer mad at you. Wade hugs you and he tells you, "You barely started. How could you have possibly failed? You don't make mistakes on purpose, man. That's why they're called mistakes. Bad people don't have full existential crisis guilt trips about making mistakes when nothing's even gone wrong yet. Bad people blame literally everyone but themselves, and you only blame yourself, Henry." You don't answer. You don't tell him that you must be subconsciously manipulating him because you're just so terrible of a person that you must do it without even trying, because what other reason would someone like him have to be friends with someone like you? You don't answer because you're an evil fucking bastard, just like your grandfather, and everyone else because you just manipulated a nice person into pitying you when you clearly don't deserve it. You wish that he'd just punched you instead. If Wade was here, he would tell you that you're not the world's doom. Wade would tell you that you're not a bad person. You might be a very important cog in the machine, but there are still millions of other moving parts. Wade would tell you that everything's fine. Everyone is fine. There are pitch black storm clouds on the horizon, but they're not going to get here in the next few hours, so you need to get some sleep before they do. The idea of Wade being sternly encouraging, that memory of the time he was the first person to ever tell you that they believed in you, makes you sob even harder. Your only conciliation is that you can at last, breathe well enough to cry. How many times has the endless suffocation and imminent doom and hopelessness driven you to tears, and Wade helped you stop, or saved your life after a few sniffles turned into drowning in blood and you started crying immediately afterwards because you're just so fucking sick of drowning in blood. You can finally cry now. Wade would tell you that anyone looking in from the outside has no idea how hard you work. They have no idea how many hours you pull. They have no idea how hard anything actually is. They wouldn't last an hour as you. Wade would remind you that you're a kid. It's not your fault that you are young. When people judge you, they should compare you to any other 19-year-old and realize how far and beyond you are. Wade would remind you that you are sick. It is not your fault that you are sick. He would ask you if you would blame anyone else for not doing things because they're sick, and of course you wouldn't. Wade would tell you that you are not a failure, you are not disgusting, you are not weak, and that you are the only person on Earth who expects you to do the things that you are doing. Thousands of other people are involved in even the smallest things that happen. You are not a failure. There are at least 100 people in this castle who have personally failed you. Nothing is wrong. For the circumstances, things are pretty damn great, in fact. Nothing's wrong. Even if something goes wrong, people might blame you, but it is not solely up to you. The only person who expects this much out of you, Henry, is you. Well, maybe Victor, but fuck that guy. You're sick, you're a kid, you've been awake for days. You're exhausted. You're a human, mostly. You have to sleep. If someone says you're lazy within earshot of us, I will beat them to death, and if you don't go to bed, you're next, Henry. I don't give a damn about your meeting in the morning. I will tell them you need to reschedule. You're going to bed, and you're staying there. Take that sleeping pill, or I will tackle and sedate you, you little shit. If you don't take your armor off and brush your teeth, no, I am not letting you sleep in it. Not tonight. You're going to take your armor off and put your gun on the side table, or the only person who's going to try to kill you is me, and I will strip you and put pajamas on you and brush your teeth while you are unconscious after I choke you out if I have to. You're tired. You're exhausted. You have to sleep. I will keep watch. There are 5 other guards in the hall outside. I won't let anyone hurt you. The perspective shifts as you look up through wet, blurry eyes, and you see yourself in the mirror. You're in King Henry's body, clutching the bathroom sink, wearing simple, comfortable looking black clothes that do not fit you. Factories don't make clothes with the fucked up proportions required to fit you. You're shuddering and looking at your gaunt, puffy and red face with deep circles under your eyes. You look hollow. You sure as hell feel hollow too. You're 6'4", but your bones jut out of your shirt. According to the doctors, you're 70 pounds underweight. You know that your entire wife weighs 80 pounds. You don't recognize yourself. You're not sure that you ever have. You hate whatever this wretched thing in the mirror is, whatever alien species it must be. As always, you're checking your eyes, and you wonder if the demon that possessed you was only unsuccessful in driving you to the brink because you have never lived anywhere else. Your body is shaking from exhaustion and crying, and you taste mint, and you keep trying and failing to stop crying long enough to brush your teeth because Wade would want you to. Sometimes Wade leaves his toothbrush and his razor on a cup on the counter next to yours. You wonder if Wade gets PTSD from fighting skeletons when he sees you naked. You have toothpaste and spit and snot and tears all over your face. And if Wade were here watching you only do a half-assed job, just like everything else that you do, you would argue with him that you tried. At least there is, for once, no blood in the sink. Wade would tell you to drink water, so you do. Your throat is tight and swallowing hurts, but Wade would tell you to drink water, and so you do. Wade would tell you to take the sleeping pill. Rest of the world be damned. He would argue that according to you, the world is already doomed and everything is futile, so you might as well not be tired tomorrow while you try and fight for it. Wade would say that tired people make mistakes, and you're the one who is so terrified of making mistakes, so by your own logic, you need to sleep. But you know that no matter what you do, you're going to fuck up, and you could sleep for a year and still be so fucking tired that you can barely walk up the damn stairs, and everyone has to watch you almost die from walking up the stairs. Soldiers and scholars and god-killers and demigods, not to mention thousands of regular people that you're too self-absorbed to know the names of. You can't even imagine how amusing it must be for people that powerful to watch you waver, collapse, and then fight for your life before them. To choke and gag at their feet, to have nearly died before them so many times that they don't even bother to pretend to care, as Wade works on you from the floor. You feel the light fade from your eyes for what may very well be the last time, and you hear them mention the weather over your ragged gulps for air, trying not to pass on to the next life right in front of them. Killing you would be a mercy, not just for you but the world. But your dying gasps after trying to walk to a different room must be simply too amusing to these people to make them make Wade give up on you at last. You would rather burn to death than feel humiliation of their gazes one single additional time. The only thing you have wanted to do as you laid in terror, dying, sinking through the castle's cold stone floor beneath you and into the void, is scream. But you can't scream. You can't ever have your dying wish because that is what's killing you. You haven't screamed in years because if you do, you'll die. And you don't want to die because you're a coward, because you're scared to die despite knowing getting someone to replace you could save the world. but you can't replace yourself with anyone but Marceline, and she's too young, and you can't bear the thought of her feeling like you do for even a second, and so you drive the world toward the end so you can doom her with the crown and the aftermath of each of your mistakes a year from now instead of tomorrow, you selfish fucking prick who must just get off on playing hero, because there are some days that you literally can't pick up a dagger to ever actually be one. You'll never serve a cause but your own vanity, your hollow pride, your perverse, bastardized honor, and you'll send thousands of others to their death for it too. You aren't doing it for Marceline, you aren't doing it for other people, you're doing it for a fantasy. Because you certainly aren't doing it for real. Wade would tell you that there has to be someone like you behind the scenes, occasionally giving inspirational speeches so that the people who throw swords and guns around all day have infrastructure to fall back on when the sword swinging is done. It's not your fault that your fighting for the world has to be figurative. You can't be a hero, not because of any failure, but because you're the only one who can organize and unite the heroes. You are not the law and infrastructure guy because you're weak, but because you are the king. The king is not supposed to be the one out physically saving people. He is the one taking care of the literal hundreds of thousands of people at home and making sure that the saved people have a home that is safe and good and a place that they want to fight for and come back to. You are literally the inspiration for other leaders across the entire world. And I don't care that your dad designed it and your mother made it work. You are the one doing it now. You are expanding it now. You are the one making it happen. And if you don't stop talking down to yourself, I will make you write mantras on a chalkboard like how they punish kids in public schools. Yes, that is a real thing they do, and no, you are not a privileged asshole for not knowing that, I swear to the gods, Henry. You have too much to do, and you are the only person who can do it. You can't be the sword guy who rescues people. You couldn't, even if you were in better health and slept and ate and took your medicine like I tell you to. Because you need to be here. You wouldn't be that guy no matter how you were. Going into danger and battle, that's an adventurer's job. You already have way too many other jobs. You can't even stop crying because you're so weak. You can't even sleep because you're such a coward. You can't even eat because you're so nauseous because you're so anxious. Wade would tell you that going 85 hours without sleep, having the weight of the fate of literally millions of people on your shoulders, not just the 850,000 at home. Gods wanting to kill you, a guy who rules over 11 million people wanting to kidnap you and steal your soul and imprison you with him for all of eternity, being at the forefront of discovering alternate dimensions, dimension-ending apocalypses, plural, taking care of your family and your friends and your wife, your own broken body, and being barely more than a child with literally no support, is reason upon reason upon reason to cry. Wade would tell you that a terrorist attack targeting you and killing dozens of innocent people and kidnapping your best friend is reason enough to cry. Your closest friend being in danger is reason enough to cry. Having your closest friend be tortured by drow while you realize that you can't help is reason enough to cry. You can't brush your teeth, and you can't stop crying, and you can't go to sleep, and you're so tired and so hungry, but you feel like a fucking asshole asking someone to cook something for you, even though there are people whose sole job it is to do exactly that, and that's what you're supposed to do and expected to do, but you can't even imagine walking down entire hallways and stairwells, much less looking a cook in the eyes right now, or God forbid, asking a guard to go get something for you like they were some waiter. Especially when you drown in shame on a normal day, when Wade sometimes does it without you even having to ask. And sometimes he gets food for you when you specifically ask him not to, and he still does. This is typically followed by a lecture on how important eating is. This is followed by you choking. This is followed by vomiting and coughing up blood. There were weeks and months of your life where Wade fed you by hand. He helped you sit up when you were choking and wiped the blood from your chin. Wade has saved your life 10,000 times. And the one time you could possibly return the favor, you can't. Someone else has to do it for you. And you are sobbing so hard because all you can think of is Wade hugging you and saving you and endlessly taking care of you and telling you that everything's going to be okay, even while he is the one in danger right now and you are the one being pathetic in your room. You look around the room and you barely recognize the place because Wade isn't there. Wade's couch is empty. Wade's whittling stuff is here, but there's no wood shavings on the floor. His tea kettle is cold. Wade isn't there. Wade is always there. You can feel his armor while you cry into his shoulder. You can smell the oil he puts in his hair. You can feel his wide and warm hands as he puts his arms around you and mutters about how mad he is at you for not taking care of yourself and being mean to yourself. All you can think of is clinging to Wade's hands, somehow still calloused from hauling rope even though he hasn't been on a ship in 10 years. All you can think of is Wade's hands trying to focus on something, anything real to ground yourself so you don't pass out. You're numb and you can't move. You can't talk or breathe. Wade is shaking you. Focus on Wade. Stay awake. He's doing medicine stuff to you. He's going to save you. Yet again. For the second time today, probably. You can't die in his arms, not after the thousands of times he's saved your life. He's laying you on the floor again. He's checking your pulse again. He's prying open your mouth so he can suck the blood out of you again. You can't move. You can't help Wade. Maybe you're dying, but at least Wade is there. At least you won't die alone. You just don't want to die alone, and that's so fucking selfish of you. Dying in his arms would scar him for life. You're dying. You're screaming for air, and you can't scream. Wade will save you. He always does. And the one time you could save him, someone else has to do it for you. All you can think of is Wade helping you drink water when you're barely strong enough to lift your head. You keep choking on it, and it's running down your chin and chest, but Wade would want you to drink all of it. Wade is reading to you, and telling you endless stories about the Navy, to pass the hours on the days and weeks and months when you can't get out of bed. Wade is making you tea, and telling you about his rock collection. Wade is laughing with you during the months and years when he was the only person in the world who could make you laugh. Wade is changing your catheter and colostomy bag and IVs and blood drains. Wade is giving you a sponge bath and helping you change clothes. Wade is turning you over and moving pillows so that you don't get bed sores. Wade is assuring you that you're not going to die, and even so, that death is a perfectly normal and reasonable thing to be scared of. Wade is telling you that he doesn't worship the Raven Queen anymore, and that years and years and decades from now when you die, he insists that you will indeed last that long. You guys can hang out in the astral plane forever. You can help Wade open an astral tea shop and build a astral log cabin in the astral woods by some astral lake. Your parents and Marceline can also eternally live there. You can go to the astral sea and Wade can teach you how to sail a boat. And maybe, since it's their home plane, you guys can go find some Gith and ask them if they've seen Elvis. It sounds nice. It sounds really fucking nice. Wade really is the only person in the world who can save your life 4 times in a day and then make death not sound so bad. Just as long as the Emperor and none of the gods you're fighting with fuck with you. But you have to fight the gods. You have to try anyway. Because you're not going to succeed, so you have to try. You have to fight them for that imaginary family from earlier. You have to fuck with them so they don't one day fuck with you or your people or your parents or Marceline or Wade. And when you fail, everyone's eternal souls are doomed. You're doomed. You're picking a fight with gods when last week you fainted in your bathtub and almost drowned. You can't do anything but drown. The only reason you're alive is because of Wade, and Wade's not here. You decide that if Wade dies and can't be resurrected, he has a DNR, but you don't care. You're gonna get all the paperwork together and abdicate to Marceline and stick around long enough to make sure all that's final, and then you're gonna kill yourself. Everyone thinks Wade's a side character, sidekick, a nanny or nurse or a butler, but there's no way in hell you can do any of this without him. You can't even sleep or eat without him. Hell, Wade might be the most important person in the castle, not you. And if Wade was here and somehow heard you make that decision, he would beat the absolute shit out of you. No semi-playful head thumps and joking threats. He'd do it for real this time. And finally, he can do it without killing you. Because you can finally fucking breathe. Right up until he strangles you. You would give anything for Wade to be here right now. Safely in your bedroom. Finally able to kick the shit out of you like he's always dreamed of. Every time you drive him to the brink of insanity with how you outright refuse to take care of yourself. Because deep down you know that you deserve to suffer eternally with all of your ailments and more, because you're such a disgusting and pathetic person who simply does not and will not ever deserve a moment of peace, much less a friend like Wade. You hate yourself, and the best thing you can do for the world is take yourself out of it. But you can't do it tonight. Wade might be fine. Wade would encourage you that Wade might be fine. Wade would be devastated if he ended up fine, but then you were gone when he got back. He would be so mad at you for even thinking about it. Typically, he drugs you if you ever admit to thinking about it. Maybe Wade will be fine. Maybe Wade will hate you because you didn't save him, and it's your fault that he got taken in the first place. But in either case, you have to make sure the kingdom is straightened out for Marceline before you die. You owe it to her after you and y'all's parents groomed her from birth to be your child bride. You owe it to her because you're literally a pedophile, and that's enough reason for somebody to shoot you alone. Thinking about that, you wouldn't even be bad. Wade would say that it isn't your fault, and that you were groomed to love her from the age of 5. Wade would say that no one should have let your underage marriage happen. Victor was king regent at the time, and was literally the one who decreed that the law that the crowned king or queen must be married or have a legitimate heir at the time of coronation superseded the law against child marriage. You were only 16. You were also a child bride. Wade would tell you that the lower judges and lords should have stepped in. Wade would guiltily admit that he should have stepped in. He should have said something too. Wade would say that he was also afraid of Victor retaliating against one or both of you because, of course, he would want Marceline to be married to you to cement his family becoming royalty. So Wade would say that, of course, you daydream about the girl that you're literally married to. Of course, you daydream about the girl that everyone in your entire world has told you since you were 5 years old that you were going to get married to and eventually do married people stuff with. Wade would tell you that you can't help what occasionally crosses your mind, and as long as you continue to not actually do it, then everything is fine. Wade would say that he constantly daydreams about killing people who make related accusatory comments about you, and murder is arguably much worse than finally giving in and sleeping with a 14-year-old who constantly sends you letters and secret messages trying to convince you to meet her at some secluded place in the middle of the night, no matter how many times you tell her no and beg her to stop. Wade would tell you that he and about half the people Wade knows had their first time at that age, and that Marceline is just being a rebellious teenager. And since you've done everything you could to keep her out of the deepest parts of politics so far, she doesn't realize that you're not being hyperbolic when you tell her that if someone ever finds a late-night letter she sent left out for you, that you're going to be hanged. She thinks you're being a prude and paranoid when you don't even let her sit next to you, and complains when you do everything you can to ensure that she's at home with her parents by 9 p.m. If she ever sneaks into your room on Wade's day off again, you may really just have to tell her father. You haven't yet because you know exactly what he would say to her. What horrible things he would call her just to make her cry. And that was only if he just said things to her and didn't just blame you and kill you. Can't stand watching her cry. Him killing you would make her cry. You don't deserve her crying over you. Obviously. You don't even want to imagine the things he threatened to do to you if he ever caught you with his daughter or cheating on her with someone else. You fully slapped Marceline last time she cornered you in the middle of the night to tell you she was ready, to the point where you were afraid it would make a mark in the morning. It was the first and hopefully only time you ever hit her. You're comforted to know that Marceline could easily kill you, and if it ever got to where you were abusing her, you hope that she kills you before her father does. He would make it very slow. He talked about cutting off your fingers and feeding them to you. breaking your arms and legs and leaving you to die in a cave. He's told you that he would do a lot of terrible stuff to you. You probably deserve all of it. At least you will later. Wade would tell you that the age gap between you makes it a no-go, obviously, but all things considered, it wouldn't be that bad. You think Wade's wrong. Obviously. And he's just trying to make you feel better. So Wade knows that he's wrong too. But the entire country literally consented to you two getting married at 16 and 12. Marcelina shot 3 men in duels for saying things like that about you. You didn't have a choice to marry a 12-year-old. If you said no, you thought Victor might kill you. The entire kingdom might kill you. Someone should have stopped it. No one did. So does that make things really your fault? Do intrusive thoughts that you hate make you a bad person? Do intrusive thoughts that fucking disgust you make you a bad person? You think yes. Obviously. And Wade would point out that even if the intrusive thought occasionally gets in, it makes you so disgusted that you have to resist bashing your head into a wall and throwing up. And that's not a very actual pedophile-like reaction to have, Wade would say. So as long as Wade and Marceline don't actually kill people to defend your honor, and as long as you continue to be an honorable man because you are one according to Wade, then everything's fine. You can't control your thoughts. You can only control what you do while having them. Just like you can control the outer shell of the sleeping medicine starting to melt in your sweaty, freezing cold hand. According to Wade, it should be melting in your stomach. You hate yourself. You deserve to die. You deserve an eternity of pain. You're a pedophile. You're a terrible king, son, friend, and person in general. You shouldn't have let Bastian fix you. You should have fired Wade a long time ago, so he wouldn't get hurt because of a terrible, evil person like you. You can't help save Wade. He devoted his entire life to you. You don't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. You're going to make him regret ever looking at you. If he doesn't already, while Drow torture him. You can't save Wade. You don't deserve Wade. The least you can do is take your medicine, like he would demand of you. Right? You've been awake for 85 hours. Everything but the organs Bastian replaced hurt. Wade would tell you that you're only so depressed because you're tired. You're tired because you're a sick teenager and you're under unimaginable stress. Teenagers need like 11 hours of sleep a day, Wade would tell you. You daydream some more about Wade coming safely home and promptly kicking the shit out of you. You daydream about all the things Wade has said about dying not being so bad. Despite the man, the friend you could never deserve, doing everything in his power to save you. But Wade would want you to take the medicine. Wade would tell you that there's nothing to be ashamed of when you can't take anymore and occasionally cry. You've made Wade cry before on occasions that you've argued that you don't deserve to sleep, that you weren't hungry or were too sick to eat no matter how skeletal you were. Previous occasions where your hopeless outlook made him feel hopeless too, when you admitted to him that the girl you're a pedophile for is the only reason you haven't killed yourself. You should have at the very least included Wade's friendship in that list. Wade devoted his entire life to you, and you won't sleep, and you won't eat, and you won't take your medicine. This is how you repay the man who takes care of you. You can't save his life the one time someone needs to, and you also don't even do the extremely simple things that he would want you to do. Something as simple as taking a single pill. You should have told Wade that he's also a reason you don't want to kill yourself. You should have told him that then. You can't save Wade. Wade would be mad at you for wanting to save Wade yourself. Wade wouldn't want you to be the one saving him. Wade would be terrified of you getting hurt. He probably is right now. Wade is being tortured by Drow at this very moment, and you know good and goddamn well that the only thing he's thinking about is hoping that you are taking care of yourself and taking sleeping medicine when you need to. Wade is very passionate about you, and you know good and goddamn well that he's hoping that you're going to be okay. More than he's hoping that he's going to be okay. And you can't help him. Wade would be mad at you for being mad at yourself about not being able to do anything about something you can't control. You can't fail at something that you didn't do. You can't mess up something that you had nothing to do with. You can't be mad at yourself for not doing something that you literally can't do, that no one could do. You're not an adventurer. You're not a god. You're not a hero. You're a king. When you got kidnapped by the Vecna cultists when you were 3, and you were chained up by your neck in the snow with a legion of zombies between you and home, when they were torturing you and threatening to turn you, trying to force your father to give Vecna the Ethereum shard, your father sent Victor. When Wade got kidnapped, you sent Carolina. Wade would tell you that Carolina can save Wade. She's an adventurer. She's the champion of the god of freedom. She's literally a demigod, and it's not your fault that you're just not. The only thing you trying to personally help would do is just endanger yourself and distract everyone and make things worse. You wanting to do anything but being the sniveling, pathetic king you are just makes everything worse. You're not helping anyone by wallowing in self-pity, you selfish asshole. Wade is the one in trouble. What are you crying for, you weak little shit? You don't deserve Wade. You would give your life for Wade, whatever your worthless life is worth. You owe him 10,000 life, that's a million. With how much the exchange rate of your lives must go for. You owe him fucking everything, and you can't even bring him back home where he can continue to always be there for you no matter how much you don't deserve it. Where he can sleep on his couch no matter how many times you offer to have someone bring a bed in there. And you're too weak and worthless to do even that yourself. And he always says no because he doesn't want to sleep that hard so he can hear you if you start drowning in blood in your sleep. God, you're so fucking selfish for wanting him to be here, away from his own life. You can't save him. You don't deserve him. You can't do any of this without him. You can't do anything without him. You can't even sleep without him. And if he were here, he would slap you across the face and make you take the sleep medicine. Wade wants you to take fucking sleep medicine. Wade wants you to do it. Wade wants you to take it. You owe it to Wade to do what he would want you to do. How you wish Wade wanted something that didn't have to do with broken and pathetic you. You can barely move your shaking hand to your mouth, but you choked on the pill. Feels like dirty glass in your throat. And as you swallow, you know that you're a failure. You're a quitter. You surrendered. You gave up, you lazy, disgraceful, absolute sack of shit. Gods, champions, war, dimensions, multiple apocalypses, your family, the thousands and millions of things your 850,000 people need and rely on you for, and you're fucking sleeping on the job. Wade's been kidnapped. And 50 people died because of something you did, and you are so stupid and useless that you don't even know what it was. Unless it was just existing in general, and being too stupid and weak to deter people, and you're going to sleep instead of trying to figure it out or help or do anything that your people need you to do, that their very lives depend on, their eternal lives, maybe even. You debate vomiting. You have so much to do. You're awash with memories of Wade standing over you and helping you wipe off your mouth after the countless times that you've been sick before. Blood and bile and the little food that you can usually choke down all over the place. He fucking cleans it up. Just talking you through it. Telling you to just keep spitting it out, trying to breathe. If you threw up the sleeping pill, Wade would make you take it again. When food makes you throw up, he tries to make you eat again. You collapse into a writhing ball of hate and horror and disgust and anguish, and you sob in a bed you don't deserve, in a room you don't deserve, in clothes you don't deserve, in a castle that's the last thing you deserve. What the ever-loving fuck are you crying for, you privileged piece of shit? You lucky fucker. You haven't worked for a damn thing in your life. You were just born one of the most powerful men on Earth, and Wade might die because you're a coward and have never accomplished anything in your life. You've never done anything good in your whole life. Are you even doing it for Wade? Or is taking a pill and going to bed like he would demand just a fucking excuse? Do you even actually want to be a good person to save people, to solve problems? Or do you just want to do it so people will like you and remember you? You vain ball of slime and rot. You're debating the desire. Not even debating actually doing it. That's pathetic all on its own. You're gonna make everyone die. Everyone you love. Millions of people that you don't even know and that haven't ever met you, because that's just how monumental the mistakes you're going to make are. You need to stop it all and run away before anyone else gets hurt. You should write up a writ of abdication first thing tomorrow, before more people die for you. You stupid, sleepy piece of shit. Just throw up right now and write it right now before you chicken out. Coward. Wade would slap you right now. Wade would hug you and tell you that everything's fine. You just need to sleep. You just need to eat something soon. Wade would tell you that it's okay to cry, and that no one has any idea how much you care and how hard you try, and the only person who expects this much out of you is you. No one is useful after 85 hours without sleep. Not a person in the world who needs to sleep can stay awake this long. It's impressive, really. Wade would tell you that everything's going to be okay. Even if it's not your fault. And he'll keep you safe, and he'll be here when you wake up. Wade will tell you that you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to be young. You're allowed to be sick. You're allowed to sleep. You're allowed to be sad and angry, scared. Wade would tell you that Carolina's really strong, that she's really capable, and she's really powerful, and knows what she's doing. Even Carolina has to sleep. Even people like her, and Bastion and Pale, and Ash and your parents, and Victor and Auguth, and yes, even Wade can't go 85 hours without rest. Carolina can save Wade. Saving Wade is her job. And you have all of your own. Wade is going to get rescued. Everything else can wait 8 hours. You can go to sleep. Even if you are a bad person who's lazy and selfish for sleeping, you still do, at some point, need to sleep. You force yourself to keep laying down and don't let yourself throw up. You're trembling, but it's getting slower. Even the sobbing and tears are getting slower. The familiar fog of whatever this drug is spreads from your gut into your neck and finally seeps its way into your brain. Your hand is sluggish as you wipe your runny nose on your shirt and then your tears on the sheet. These are really strong pills. Fast, too. Honestly, you're not sure they'd be legal if the Board of Medicine investigated them. This hypocritical piece of shit. They're the fastest ones Wade's and Auguth could find. It's crawling into every crevice of you, every nerve. A deep, warm still that your aching vessel just can't fight off. But still, you resist sleep. thinking of the thousands of things, thousands of people need you to do. Your eyes hurt. Your throat hurts. Everything but your mechanical parts hurt. You don't deserve Bastion or Pale or Carolina either. You don't deserve August or Marcelina, your parents. Maybe you deserve Victor. These pills are gonna make you fall asleep. At least 8 more hours of being useless while some drow torture Wade. Wade would have forced you to take these. You can imagine him standing over you as he closes the jar, playfully holding you down and into a pillow. Wade would tell you that Carolina can save Wade. She's an adventurer. She's a hero. Of course she's gonna save her love interest. She already had a tragic backstory. She doesn't need her boyfriend to die. You find a smile, even through the tears, even through everything, even as the medicine and your exhaustion forces your eyes to close, remembering making fun of Wade and joking about how that woman was going to destroy him, telling him how he'd make a beautiful mother and housewife, asking Wade if he wanted a before and after x-ray of his pelvis because it would never be the same after a night with the champion of the patron goddess of hookers and strippers riding on it. You hope Carolina isn't just getting close to your best friend for espionage reasons. You pray to the moon and stars and the very balance of light and dark that Wade isn't going to be a tragedy for her character arc. Wade deserves to have a life. He needs to get away from you. He needs to go on vacation with someone who can protect him like Carolina can. He deserves a life outside of you. He deserves to be happy somewhere far away where your actions can't hurt him. Marceline and your in-laws and your parents too. You feel your brain slowing. You're not sure you could move if you tried, and it feels really nice. You know that you don't deserve to feel nice. Wade would argue that you do. Despite how you could be sacrificing Wade and the world for a scrap of comfort right now. Wade would tell you to shut up. Keep your eyes closed. Wade would tell you that you're safe and that everything's fine. Wade would go off and find yet another self-help book about depression to read to you. Wade would insist that Carolina is going to rescue Wade and that everything's going to be okay. Wade would say that even if everything doesn't end up okay, that it's not your fault. Wade would say that Carolina can rescue him. Wade would tell you that she's going to save him. Wade would tell you that everything's going to be okay. Wade would tell you that Carolina can save Wade. Wade would tell you that Carolina will save Wade. She has to. And you wake up from this millisecond daydream as King Henry falls asleep. You're shunted out of his perspective with tears in your eyes and what feels like knives in your throat. An impossibly heavy helplessness, like poison lead, hangs in your gut. But in your chest, also is the desperate, as small as a flickering candle in a vacuum of absolute and all-consuming darkness, hope. Hope that someone consequential has in you and your current traveling companions. Hey, it's your GM, Bailey Ford. I would like to thank our regular players, Darian, Matt, and Ian, Hip for our cover art, and Tabletop Audio for our background music. You can find us on Twitter at CIllithids, and thank you especially for listening.